The galactic invasion. The sky blazed with an unnatural light as the Zarkonian warships breached Earth's atmosphere. Their massive hulls, sleek and obsidian, blotted out the sun over major cities across the globe. Humanity, long accustomed to being the dominant species on their pale blue dot, found themselves facing an enemy beyond their wildest imaginations. In New York City, Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force, UEDF, stood atop the observation deck of the Empire State Building, her eyes fixed on the looming alien vessel. The wind whipped her dark hair around her face as she spoke into her comm device. "This is Captain Chen to all UEDF units. Prepare for immediate engagement. I repeat, prepare for immediate engagement." As she issued the order, Sarah couldn't help but feel a pang of fear. The UEDF had been established 5 years ago when the first signs of alien life were detected, but nothing could have prepared them for this. The Zarkonians had appeared seemingly out of nowhere, their technology far surpassing anything humanity had ever seen. Across the Atlantic, in London, Dr. Elias Reeves hunched over his computer terminal in the basement of MI6 headquarters. His fingers flew across the keyboard as he attempted to decipher the alien transmissions. Sweat beaded on his forehead, his thick-rimmed glasses sliding down his nose. Come on," he muttered, lines of code reflecting in his lenses. A sudden ping from his computer made him sit up straight. "Got it." He keyed his comm link. "This is Dr. Reeves. I've cracked their basic communications. Patching it through to all UEDF channels now." As the alien chatter filled the airwaves, a chill ran down the spines of every human who heard it. The Zarkonians weren't just invading. They were laughing. Their guttural, clicking language conveyed a sense of amusement, as if the conquest of Earth was nothing more than a game to them. In Washington, D.C., General Marcus Blackwood stood in the Pentagon's war room, his weathered face set in grim determination. Holographic displays showed the positions of alien ships worldwide, vastly outnumbering Earth's defenses. "Status report," he barked. A young lieutenant responded, her voice quavering slightly. "Sir, our conventional forces are engaging the enemy, but it's not good. Our most advanced fighters are being swatted out of the sky like flies. Ground-based weapons are having minimal effect on their shields." Blackwood's jaw clenched. He'd feared this would be the case. Humanity's best technology was child's play compared to what the Zarkonians brought to bear. But he had one last card to play, a card that even most of Earth's leaders didn't know existed. He picked up a secure phone, dialing a number known only to a select few. "This is Poseidon Actual. Initiate Operation Deep Strike. Authorization code, Trident Zulu 997. Thousands of feet beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, in a top-secret facility known only as the Trench, alarms began to blare. Commander Zara Okoye, head of Earth's clandestine underwater fleet, snapped to attention. She'd been waiting for this call since the invasion began. "All hands, battle stations," she shouted, her voice carrying through the facility's intercom. "This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." The Trench came alive with activity. Personnel rushed to their posts as massive hangar doors began to open, revealing sleek, dart-like vessels unlike anything seen in Earth's known navies. These were the culmination of decades of secret development, ships designed not for ocean warfare, but for space combat. As the underwater fleet prepared to surface, the situation above grew dire. In Moscow, the Zarkonians had begun their ground assault. Corporal Dmitry Volkov crouched behind an overturned car, plasma bolts sizzling past his head. "We can't hold them," he shouted into his radio. "Request immediate air support." But no air support was coming. Earth's air forces were decimated, struggling to even slow the alien advance. Dmitry watched in horror as a Zarkonian walker, a three-legged monstrosity bristling with weapons, stomped down the street, crushing everything in its path. Back in New York, Sarah Chen led a desperate defense of the city. UEDF troops fought valiantly, but they were hopelessly outgunned. As she directed her forces from a mobile command center, a Zarkonian dropship suddenly loomed overhead. "Incoming," she yelled, diving for cover as the alien craft opened fire. The command center exploded in a ball of fire, scattering debris across the street. Sarah pulled herself from the wreckage, ears ringing. She looked up to see a Zarkonian warrior standing over her, its insectoid face twisted in what she could only assume was a sneer. It raised its weapon, ready to fire. But the shot never came. A blinding beam of energy lanced through the air, vaporizing the alien instantly. Sarah blinked in disbelief as a sleek, unfamiliar craft zoomed overhead. It was unlike any human or Zarkonian ship she'd ever seen. Similar scenes play out across the globe. Just as all seemed lost, a new force entered the fray. Ships burst from the oceans, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly sheen. They engaged the Zarkonian vessels with weapons that seemed to bend the laws of physics, tearing through alien shields like tissue paper. In London, Elias Reeves stared at his monitors in shock. "What the bloody hell is that?" he whispered, watching as the unknown ships turned the tide of battle. General Blackwood allowed himself a small smile as reports flooded in. "That, ladies and gentlemen," he announced to the stunned war room, "is humanity's ace in the hole. Our underwater fleet, hidden from the world. And our enemies, until this very moment." The Zarkonians, caught completely off guard, found their easy conquest turned into a desperate struggle. Their communications, once filled with mocking laughter, now crackled with panicked orders and cries for retreat. Commander Okoy's voice rang out across all human channels. "This is Commander Okoy of the Earth Deep Space Navy. To all UEDF forces, hold the line. Reinforcements have arrived." As the battle raged on, humanity began to push back against their would-be conquerors. The secret fleet, armed with technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien ship decades ago, proved to be more than a match for the Zarkonian Armada. In orbit, massive space stations began to emerge from the depths of Earth's oceans, their true purpose finally revealed. These weren't underwater habitats, but launch pads for humanity's real space force. Sarah Chen, having commandeered one of the new ships, found herself leading a squadron against a Zarkonian mothership. The alien vessel, easily the size of a small city, loomed before them. "All wings, report in," she called, her hand steady on the controls of the unfamiliar craft. "Red 2, standing by. Red 3, ready to kick some alien ass. Red 4, let's show these bugs what humans are made of." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. "All right, people. Let's make Earth proud. Attack formation Delta. Engage." The human ships swarmed the mothership, their advanced weapons penetrating its defenses. Explosions blossomed across its hull as Sarah and her team exploited every weakness they could find. On the ground, the tide had turned. Dmitry Volkov, reinvigorated by the arrival of the secret fleet, led a counterattack against the Zarkonian ground forces in Moscow. The alien walkers, once unstoppable, fell one by one to concentrated fire from reverse-engineered energy weapons. As the battle for Earth reached its crescendo, the Zarkonian command ship appeared in low orbit. It was an enormous, city-sized vessel that dwarfed even their motherships. General Blackwood knew that this was their chance to end the invasion once and for all. "All available units," he ordered, "concentrate fire on the command ship. Bring that monstrosity down." Earth's combined forces, the conventional military, the secret fleet, and even hastily armed civilian vessels, converged on the Zarkonian flagship. The space around Earth lit up with weapons fire, a dazzling display of humanity's desperation and determination. In the command ship's bridge, the Zarkonian Supreme Commander watched in disbelief as his invasion force crumbled. These humans, whom they had dismissed as primitive and weak, had not only resisted but were on the verge of victory. "Impossible," he chittered in his native tongue. "How could they have hidden such power from us?" As if in answer, a massive volley of fire from Earth's forces struck the command ship. Alarms blared as systems failed across the vessel. The Supreme Commander gave the order he never thought he'd have to give. All forces, retreat. I repeat, all forces retreat. The humans have won this day. The Zarkonian fleet, once so confident in their superiority, fled Earth's orbit in disarray. Cheers erupted from every corner of the globe as humanity realized they had done the impossible. They had repelled an alien invasion. In the aftermath, as the dust settled and the extent of their victory became clear, humanity found itself changed. They were no longer alone in the universe, and more importantly, they were no longer helpless. The secret fleet, now known to all, symbolized a new era for Earth. General Blackwood addressed the United Nations, his words broadcast to every corner of the planet. Today, we have proven that humanity is not to be underestimated. We faced annihilation and emerged victorious. But this is only the beginning. The Zarkonians will return, and there may be other threats lurking in the depths of space. We must be ready. We must be united. For we have taken our first steps into a larger universe, and we will face it head-on, as one people, the people of Earth. As the general's words rang out, Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of one of the orbital stations, looking down at the blue marble she had fought so hard to protect. Beside her, Dmitry Volkov and Elias Reeves joined her, all three of them contemplating the future. So Elias said, breaking the silence, "What do you think they'll throw at us next?" Sarah turned to her companions, a determined glint in her eye. "Whatever it is, we'll be ready. Humanity has shown what it's capable of when pushed to the brink. We're not just going to defend our world, we're going to reach for the stars." As they looked out at the vast expanse of space, now both a source of threat and promise, one thing was clear: humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The galaxy had underestimated them once. It wouldn't make that mistake again. Operation Poseidon's Fury. The celebration of humanity's unexpected victory was short-lived. As the dust settled and the world began to assess the damage, a grim reality set in. The Zarkonians would return, and Earth needed to be ready. In the weeks following the invasion, the United Earth Defense Force underwent a radical transformation. The once secret underwater fleet, now known as the Earth Deep Space Navy, EDN, became the centerpiece of humanity's defense strategy. Operation Poseidon's Fury, a comprehensive plan to fortify Earth and take the fight to the stars, was put into motion. At the heart of this operation was the newly formed Interstellar Command, headquartered in the sprawling underwater base known as the Trench. Commander Zara Okoye, the architect of Earth's hidden fleet, now found herself leading humanity's charge into the cosmic frontier. As Zara strode through the bustling corridors of the Trench, holographic displays flickered to life, showing the status of Earth's rapidly expanding defenses. She entered the central command hub, where familiar faces awaited her. "Status report," she ordered, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's future. Captain Sarah Chen, now head of EDN's tactical division, stepped forward. "Commander, our orbital defense grid is at 60% capacity. We've retrofitted most of our conventional satellites with EDN tech, but it's a stopgap measure at best." Dr. Elias Reeves, hunched over a console covered in alien symbols, chimed in without looking up. "The good news is we've made significant progress in decrypting the Zarkonian database we captured. The bad news: they're not alone out there. The galaxy is a lot more crowded and hostile than we ever imagined." Zara absorbed this information, her mind racing with possibilities and threats. "And our fleet?" This time, it was General Marcus Blackwood who answered. The old soldier had refused retirement, insisting on seeing Earth through this crisis. "Production is ramping up, but slowly. We're looking at maybe 50 capital ships and 200 fighters within the next 6 months. It's not nearly enough if the Zarkonians return in force." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the facility. A young lieutenant rushed in, her face pale. "Commander, we're detecting multiple hyperspace signatures at the edge of the solar system. It's them. They're back." The room fell silent for a moment, the weight of the situation pressing down on everyone present. Then, Zora's voice cut through the tension. "Well then, let's give them a proper welcome. Initiate Poseidon's fury. All hands to battle stations." Across Earth, hidden launch facilities sprang to life. The Edean fleet, though smaller than they'd hoped, rose from the oceans and soared into the sky. In orbit, the hastily constructed defense platforms powered up, their weapons trained on the approaching enemy. As the Zarkonian fleet emerged from hyperspace, they found not the broken, defenseless world they'd expected, but a planet bristling with advanced weaponry. Leading the charge was the Edean flagship, the Humanity's Hope, with Commander Okoi at the helm. "This is Commander Okoi to all Earth forces." Her voice rang out across all channels. "Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Every one of you is the best humanity has to offer. Now let's show these aliens what that means. Engage." The battle was joined. Edean ships, their hulls gleaming with the same otherworldly sheen as before, met the Zarkonian vessels head-on. Energy beams lanced across the void, missiles leaving trails of blue fire in their wake. On the Humanity's Hope's bridge, Zara watched the tactical display with steely determination. "Captain Chen, take your squadron and flank their left wing. Dr. Reeves, I need you to keep working on cracking their battle communications. General Blackwood, coordinate our ground defenses in case any of them slip through." As her officers carried out their orders, Zara couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity, once on the brink of extinction, was now fighting back with everything they had. In the skies above New York, Sarah Chen led her squadron against a group of Zarkonian destroyers. The aliens had adapted since their last encounter, their shields now more resistant to Edean weapons. But Sarah had a few tricks up her sleeve. "Red Squadron, execute Maneuver Theta," she ordered. Her fighters broke formation, each one targeting a different weak point on the Zarkonian ships. It was a tactic they'd developed based on Elias's analysis of the alien technology, concentrating fire on specific subsystems to create cascade failures. The result was spectacular. One by one, the Zarkonian destroyers erupted in silent explosions, their debris scattered across Earth's orbit. Back in the trench, Elias Reeves worked feverishly to decrypt the enemy's battle plans. Sweat beaded on his forehead as line after line of alien code scrolled across his screen. Suddenly, his eyes widened. "Oh, bloody hell," he muttered, keying his comm. "Commander Okoi, I've cracked their communications. They're not just here to conquer. They're after something specific, something they call the catalyst." Zara's brow furrowed. "The catalyst? What is that?" "I don't know," Elias admitted. "But whatever it is, they believe it's hidden somewhere on Earth, and they're willing to glass the entire planet to find it." This new information changed everything. Zara quickly relayed orders to the fleet, prioritizing the defense of major population centers and potential sites of alien interest. As the battle raged on, it became clear that despite their improved defenses, humanity was still outgunned. The Zarkonians had returned with an even larger force, and they were pushing the Edean to its limits. In Moscow, General Blackwood coordinated the ground defense as Zarkonian drop pods breached the atmosphere. Corporal Dmitry Volkov, now a seasoned veteran of alien warfare, led a squad of Edean Marines in a desperate holding action. "Keep them contained," Dmitry shouted over the din of battle, his reverse-engineered plasma rifle spitting blue fire at the advancing alien troops. "We can't let them establish a beachhead." But for every alien they took down, two more seemed to take its place. The Zarkonians were relentless, their strange, chittering war cries filling the air as they pushed forward. In orbit, the situation was equally dire. The Edean fleet, though fighting valiantly, was being slowly overwhelmed by the sheer number of enemy ships. Zara watched with growing concern as more and more red dots appeared on her tactical display. "Commander," her tactical officer reported, "we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the enemy flagship. They're charging some kind of super weapon." Zara's mind raced. They couldn't let that weapon fire. The devastation to Earth would be catastrophic. But they didn't have the firepower to take out the flagship, not with its escorts still intact. Then an idea struck her. A crazy, desperate idea, but one that just might work. "All ships, this is Commander Okoye. Initiate Protocol Omega. I repeat, initiate Protocol Omega." Her officers looked at her in shock. Protocol Omega was a last resort tactic, one that had been theorized but never tested. It involved using their ship's advanced propulsion systems to create a localized singularity, a black hole. "Commander," Sarah's voice crackled over the comm, "are you sure about this? The risks are less than the alternative, Captain." Zara cut her off. "Now, on my mark, all ships divert maximum power to your drive cores and converge on these coordinates." As the Edian fleet moved into position, the Zarkonian flagship's weapon reached full charge. A ball of sickly green energy formed at its bow, growing larger by the second. "Now," Zara shouted. Every Edian ship activated their drives simultaneously, the combined energy of their exotic matter cores warping the very fabric of spacetime. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself seemed to twist and tear. A singularity burst into existence right in front of the Zarkonian flagship. The massive ship, caught in the gravitational pull, was torn apart. Its superweapon discharged harmlessly into the void, the energy swallowed by the miniature black hole. The singularity collapsed almost immediately, but the damage was done. The heart of the Zarkonian fleet had been ripped out, and the remaining ships fell into disarray. "All ships, press the advantage," Zara ordered, her voice filled with fierce determination. "Drive them back." The tide of battle turned. Edian ships, emboldened by their desperate gambit, tore into the enemy fleet. On the ground, human forces rallied, pushing back against the alien invaders with renewed vigor. Hours later, as the last Zarkonian ship flowed into hyperspace, an eerie quiet settled over Earth. The planet had been saved, but at a great cost. Much of the orbital defense grid lay in ruins, and several major cities had suffered significant damage. In the trench, Zara stood before her team, her uniform scuffed, and her face weary but proud. "We've won the day," she said, her voice carrying to every corner of the room. "But this war is far from over. The Zarkonians will be back, and next time, they'll be even more desperate to find this catalyst." She turned to Elias. "Dr. Reeves, I need you to focus all your efforts on figuring out what this catalyst is and why it's so important to them. If they want it badly enough to risk another invasion, we need to find it first." Elias nodded, already lost in thought about the mysteries hidden in the alien database. "Captain Chen," Zara continued, "work with our engineers to implement the lessons we've learned from this battle. I want our ships faster, stronger, and better armed." Sarah saluted crisply. "Consider it done, Commander." "And General," Zara said, turning to Blackwood, "we need to step up recruitment and training. Every human being needs to be prepared for what's coming." The old soldier nodded grimly. "I'll make it happen." As her team dispersed to carry out their orders, Zara looked up at the holographic display of Earth, still bearing the scars of battle. They had survived, against all odds. But she knew that this was only the beginning. The Zarkonians would return, possibly with allies. And somewhere on Earth, a mysterious artifact called the Catalyst lay hidden, its power coveted by forces beyond their comprehension. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger, more dangerous universe, and there was no going back. Zara's fists clenched at her sides. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever cosmic horrors awaited them in the depths of space, humanity would face them head-on. They had proven their worth, their resilience, their fury. The galaxy had underestimated them once. It wouldn't make that mistake again. Operation Poseidon's Fury had been a success, but the real battle, the battle for humanity's future among the stars, was just beginning. The adaptive edge. In the months following the second Zarkonian invasion attempt, Earth became a hive of activity. The planet's population, once divided by borders and ideologies, now worked with a single-minded purpose: survival. The Earth Deep Space Navy, EDN, had become a symbol of hope, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Deep within the trench, Dr. Elias Reeves hunched over his workstation, his eyes bloodshot from countless sleepless nights. The Zarkonian database had become his obsession, its secrets slowly unraveling before him. As he pored over the alien text, a word caught his eye. A word he had seen repeatedly, but never understood until now. Catalyst, he muttered, his fingers flying across the holographic keyboard. It's not a thing. It's a place. He keyed his comm unit. Commander Okoye, I need everyone in the war room. Now. Within minutes, the leadership of Earth's defense gathered around the central holotable. Commander Zara Okoye stood at the head, her piercing gaze fixed on Elias. What have you found, Doctor? Elias tapped a few commands, and a 3D model of Earth appeared above the table. The catalyst isn't an object, he explained, his words tumbling out in excitement. It's a location. Specifically, it's here. A red dot pulsed on the hologram, deep in the Amazon rainforest. Captain Sarah Chen leaned in, her brow furrowed. What exactly are we looking at? According to the Zarkonian records, it's some kind of ancient alien installation, Elias replied, predating even their civilization. They believe it holds the key to some kind of revolutionary technology. General Blackwood's weathered face creased in concern. If it's so important, why haven't they simply bombarded the entire area from orbit? Elias shook his head. Whatever's down there, it's fragile. The Zarkonians are afraid that any large-scale attack might destroy it. That's why they've been trying to invade. They need boots on the ground to secure it. Commander Okoye absorbed this information, her mind already racing with possibilities. Then we need to get there first. Sarah, I want you to assemble a team. We're going in. As the others filed out to prepare, Zara held Elias back. Doctor, I need you on this mission. Your expertise with the alien tech might be the difference between success and failure. Elias swallowed hard, nervousness evident on his face. Commander, I'm not a field agent. I'm just a scientist. Zara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. You're more than that, Elias. You're one of the brightest minds humanity has, and right now we need that mind on the front lines. Reluctantly, Elias nodded. I'll do my best, Commander. 48 hours later, a small team of EDN's finest found themselves trekking through the dense Amazon rainforest. Captain Sarah Chen led the way, her enhanced combat suit allowing her to move silently through the underbrush. Behind her, Elias stumbled along, still unused to the weight of his own protective gear. How much further? Corporal Dmitry Volkov asked from the rear, his eyes constantly scanning their surroundings. Sarah checked her wrist-mounted holomap. We're close. Less than a kilometer now. As they pushed deeper into the jungle, the air seemed to grow thicker, more oppressive. Strange sounds echoed in the distance, unlike any Earth animal they'd ever heard. Suddenly, Sarah held up a fist, signaling the team to halt. Ahead, barely visible through the dense foliage, was a structure. Its smooth, metallic surface stood in stark contrast to the organic shapes of the jungle around it. This is it, Elias whispered, his eyes wide with awe. The catalyst. As they approached, the structure seemed to come alive. Lines of pulsing blue energy raced across its surface, and a doorway materialized out of nowhere. Careful, Sarah warned. We don't know what kind of defenses this place might have. No sooner had the words left her mouth than the ground beneath their feet began to shift. Metallic tendrils erupted from the earth, wrapping around their legs. It's a trap, Dmitry yelled, firing his plasma rifle at the writhing metal. But the beams simply dissipated against the strange alloy. Elias, however, remained calm. He reached out, placing his hand on the nearest tendril. To everyone's surprise, the metal immediately retracted. "It's not attacking us," he said, his voice filled with wonder. "It's scanning us, testing us." The tendrils retreated fully, and the doorway to the structure widened, as if inviting them in. "Well," Sarah said, a hint of a smile on her face, "shall we?" Inside, they found themselves in a vast chamber, its walls covered in intricate, glowing patterns. At the center stood a pedestal, upon which rested a small, spherical object. Elias approached it cautiously, his handheld scanner whirring. "The energy readings from this thing are off the charts. I've never seen anything like it." As he reached out to touch the sphere, a holographic interface sprang to life around them. Alien symbols flashed by at dizzying speeds. "Can you read it, Doc?" Dmitri asked. Elias's brow furrowed in concentration. It's not just one language. It's hundreds, maybe thousands. Wait there." The symbols settled into a form of pictographic writing that Elias recognized from the Zarkonian database. It says, "To the worthy, we bequeath the legacy of the precursors. Choose wisely." Suddenly, the sphere split open, revealing a swirling vortex of energy within. Images began to flash before their eyes. Advanced technologies, star maps, weapon schematics. "My God," Sarah breathed. "It's a database, the collected knowledge of an ancient alien race." Elias nodded, his eyes never leaving the display. "Not just any race. I think these might be the beings that seeded life throughout the galaxy. The precursors the message mentioned." As they watched in awe, the images began to coalesce into a single, coherent stream of information. It poured into their minds, filling them with knowledge beyond their wildest dreams. When it was over, they stood in stunned silence for a long moment. Did we just download the secrets of the universe into our brains?" Dmitri asked, his voice shaky. Elias nodded slowly. "I think we did. But more than that, I think I know why the Zarkonians wanted this so badly, and why we can't let them have it." Before he could elaborate, alarms began to blare. Sarah's comm unit crackled to life with General Blackwood's urgent voice. "Captain, we've got incoming. A Zarkonian strike force just entered Earth's atmosphere. They're heading straight for your position." Sarah's jaw set in determination. "Understood, General. We're on our way out." As they raced back through the jungle, Elias's mind was awhirl with the new knowledge he'd acquired. "The catalyst," he explained between breaths. "It's not just a database. It's a key to unlocking the potential in every species' DNA." "What does that mean?" Sarah asked as they ran. "It means," Elias replied, "that with this knowledge, we can adapt, evolve, faster than any natural process. The Zarkonians wanted it to make themselves invincible. They burst out of the tree line just as the first Zarkonian drop pods slammed into the earth nearby." Sarah keyed her comm. "This is Captain Chen. We need immediate evac." As if in answer, the sky above them shimmered. The humanity's hope decloaked, its massive form casting a shadow over the battlefield. "Sorry we're late to the party." Commander Okoy's voice came through their comms. "Thought you could use a hand." The ship's point defense systems opened up, shredding the incoming Zarkonian fighters. A transport shuttle detached from its underbelly, racing towards their position. As they fought their way to the extraction point, Elias's mind raced with possibilities. The knowledge from the catalyst was already integrating with his understanding of EDN technology, suggesting improvements, entirely new approaches. They reached the shuttle just as the first wave of Zarkonian ground troops arrived. As they lifted off, Elias turned to Commander Okoy. "Commander, I know how we can win this war, but we'll need to act fast." Back aboard the Humanity's Hope, Elias laid out his plan. Using the knowledge from the catalyst, they could modify their ships, their weapons, even their own bodies to counter the Zarkonian threat. "It's risky," he admitted. "We'll be changing ourselves on a fundamental level. But it's our best chance." Zara considered for a long moment, then nodded. "Do it. Whatever it takes to protect Earth." Over the next few weeks, as the Zarkonians regrouped for another assault, humanity underwent a transformation. Edian ships were retrofitted with organic components, making them faster, more resilient, and capable of limited self-repair. Weapons were modified to target specific weaknesses in Zarkonian biology. And the soldiers, they changed too. Enhanced strength, accelerated healing, even limited shape-shifting abilities. They were becoming something more than human. As the Zarkonian fleet appeared on the edge of the solar system, larger than ever before, Earth was ready. Commander Okoye stood on the bridge of the Humanity's Hope, now more of a living entity than a simple starship. Around her, the crew interfaced directly with the ship's systems, their minds linked in perfect harmony. "All ships, this is Commander Okoye," she broadcast to the fleet. "The enemy thought they could come here and take what was ours. They thought we were weak, primitive, easy prey. Today, we prove them wrong. Today, we show them the true power of humanity's adaptive edge. All ships, engage." The Edian fleet surged forward, their organic hulls shimmering with energy. As they clashed with the Zarkonian Armada, it quickly became clear that this battle would be different. Edian ships phased through enemy fire, their hulls instantly regenerating any damage. Missiles transformed mid-flight, adapting to enemy countermeasures. And the human pilots, their minds augmented by the catalyst's knowledge, flew with inhuman precision and creativity. On the Zarkonian flagship, the Supreme Commander watched in horror as his supposedly invincible fleet was systematically dismantled. "Impossible," he chittered. "What are these creatures?" The answer came in the form of the Humanity's Hope, which suddenly appeared before his ship, having phased through the heart of his fleet. Commander Okoye's voice boomed across all frequencies. "We are humanity. We adapt. We evolve. And we are no one's prey." With that, the Humanity's Hope opened fire, its weapons tearing through the Zarkonian defenses like they weren't even there. As the enemy fleet crumbled, a cheer went up across the Edian ships. They had done it. They had not just defeated the Zarkonians, they had transcended them. In the aftermath of the battle, as the remnants of the alien fleet flooded into deep space, Commander Okoye gathered her team on the observation deck of the Humanity's Hope. "We've won a great victory today," she said, looking out at the star-studded expanse before them. "But our journey is just beginning. The galaxy is vast, filled with wonders and dangers we can scarcely imagine. And now, thanks to the catalyst, we have the means to explore it all." She turned to face her crew, her eyes shining with the light of new possibilities. "The stars are calling, and humanity will answer. Who's with me?" As one, they raised their voices in affirmation. Earth had not just survived, it had evolved. And now, with the power of the precursors at their command and the indomitable human spirit driving them forward, they were ready to take their place among the stars. The age of adaptation had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. Counterattack. The vastness of space stretched out before the Humanity's Hope, now more alive than ever. Its organic hull pulsed with an ethereal blue glow, a testament to the fusion of human ingenuity and precursor technology. On the bridge, Commander Zara Okoye stood at the helm, her mind seamlessly connected to the ship's systems through neural interfaces derived from the catalyst's knowledge. "Status report," she commanded, her voice resonating with newfound authority. Captain Sarah Chen, her body now enhanced with adaptive nanotech, responded promptly. "All systems are operating at peak efficiency, Commander. The fleet is in formation and awaiting your orders." Dr. Elias Reeves, his eyes glowing faintly with the power of augmented reality implants, looked up from his console. "Commander, I've been analyzing the data from our last encounter with the Zarkonians. I believe I've pinpointed the location of their homeworld." A hush fell over the bridge. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the chance to take the fight to the enemy's doorstep. Zara's eyes narrowed. "Show me." A holographic display materialized in the center of the bridge, showing a star system deep in Zarkonian territory. Elias highlighted a planet orbiting a red giant star. "This is Zarkon Prime," he explained. "It's heavily fortified. But with our new capabilities, I believe we have a chance to end this war once and for all." Zara studied the display, her enhanced mind rapidly calculating strategies and probabilities. "It won't be easy," she mused. "But you're right. This is our best chance to strike a decisive blow." She turned to address the entire bridge crew. "Send word to Earth. It's time for Operation Starfall." As the message was relayed back to Earth, the EDN fleet began its preparations. Ships morphed and adapted, optimizing their configurations for the long journey ahead and the battle to come. Crews underwent final augmentations, pushing the limits of what was once considered human. Back on Earth, General Marcus Blackwood stood before the United Earth Council, his weathered face a mask of determination. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "the time has come for humanity to take the offensive. Commander Okoye and the Edian fleet are poised to strike at the heart of the Zarkonian Empire. But they can't do it alone." He gestured to a holographic display showing Earth's orbital defenses. "We need to commit everything we have to this assault. It's a risk, yes, but one we must take. The Zarkonians will never stop coming for us, for the catalyst. We need to end this threat once and for all." After hours of heated debate, the Council finally agreed. Earth would throw its full might behind this counterattack, leaving only a skeleton crew to defend the homeworld. As the Edian fleet prepared to depart, Zara received one last transmission from Earth. It was a simple message, but one that carried the weight of an entire planet's hopes and fears. "Godspeed, Commander. Bring our people home." With a thought, Zara engaged the fleet's new faster-than-light drives. In a flash of dazzling light, the Armada vanished, embarking on a journey that would determine the fate of humanity. The voyage to Zarkon Prime took weeks, even with their advanced propulsion systems. During this time, the crew of the Humanity's Hope continued to push the boundaries of their new abilities. Corporal Dmitry Volkov, now more machine than man, led combat simulations that defied the laws of physics. Sarah Chen worked tirelessly to integrate the fleet's collective consciousness, allowing for unprecedented coordination in battle. And Elias Reeves delved deeper into the mysteries of the catalyst, unlocking new secrets with each passing day. As they approached Zarkonian space, Zara called her senior staff for one final briefing. "We're about to enter the belly of the beast," she said, her voice solemn. "The Zarkonians will throw everything they have at us. But remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for Earth, for the future of our species." She looked each of them in the eye, seeing the determination reflected back. "No matter what happens, I'm proud to serve with each and every one of you. Now, let's make history." The fleet dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of the Zarkon system. Immediately, alarms blared across every ship as they detected the massive defensive network surrounding the alien homeworld. By the stars, Sarah breathed, taking in the sight of thousands of Zarkonian warships and orbital platforms. There's so many of them. Zara's jaw set in determination. And yet, not enough. All ships, battle formation Delta. Engage adaptive camouflage and prepare for phase shift assault. The Edian fleet shimmered and seemed to vanish, their hulls bending light around them. They surged forward, passing through the outer defensive lines like ghosts. On Zarkon Prime, alarms screamed as the planetary defense grid detected the approaching threat. The supreme commander of the Zarkonian forces chittered in disbelief as reports flooded in. "Impossible," he screeched. "How did they find us? How did they get past our outer defenses?" Before anyone could respond, the sky above Zarkon Prime lit up with fire. The Edian fleet took cloaked in low orbit, their weapons already blazing. Zarkonian ships exploded by the dozens, caught completely off guard by the humans' impossible maneuver. All ships, concentrate fire on their command and control centers, Zara ordered. Ground teams, prepare for deployment. We need to secure their central government complex. As the space battle raged, drop pods streaked through the atmosphere of Zarkon Prime. Inside one of them, Dmitry Volkov led a team of Edian's most elite soldiers, their bodies and minds honed to perfection by the Catalyst's gifts. They hit the ground running, their adaptive armor morphing to blend with the alien environment. Zarkonian defenders swarmed towards them, but they were unprepared for what they faced. Dmitry's team moved with inhuman speed and precision. Their weapons shifted forms on the fly, countering every Zarkonian tactic. Where once the aliens had seemed invincible, now they fell before the onslaught of humanity's finest. Back in orbit, the Humanity's Hope engaged the Zarkonian flagship in a titanic duel. Energy beams lanced back and forth between the two massive vessels, neither able to gain a decisive advantage. Their adaptive shielding is proving more resilient than we anticipated, Sarah reported, her hands flying over her console. Zara's mind raced, processing countless tactical simulations in the blink of an eye. Elias, she called out, can we use the Catalyst's knowledge to disrupt their shield harmonics? The scientist was already working furiously. I think so, but we'll need to get closer. Much closer. Zara nodded grimly. Then that's what we'll do. All power to forward shields and engines. We're going in. The Humanity's Hope surged forward, weathering a storm of enemy fire. Its organic hull regenerated damage almost as quickly as it was inflicted. As they closed with the Zarkonian flagship, Elias activated the disruptor pulse. A wave of energy washed over the enemy ship, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a flash of light, its shields collapsed. Now, Zara shouted, all weapons, fire. The Humanity's Hope unleashed its full arsenal, tearing into the unprotected hull of the Zarkonian vessel. In a matter of seconds, the pride of the alien fleet was reduced to a drifting wreck. On the surface, Dmitry's team fought their way into the heart of the Zarkonian government complex. They encountered fierce resistance, but nothing could stand against their enhanced abilities and unwavering determination. Finally, they breached the central chamber, coming face to face with the Zarkonian ruling council. The alien leaders cowered before them, their mandibles clicking in fear. Dmitry stepped forward, his voice amplified by his suit's systems. In the name of Earth and the human race, you are hereby ordered to surrender. This war ends now. For a tense moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, the supreme commander of the Zarkonian forces lowered himself in a gesture of submission. We yield, he chittered. The war is over. As word of the Zarkonian surrender spread, the fighting gradually ceased. Edian ships took up positions around Zarkon Prime, securing their hard-won victory. On the bridge of the Humanity's Hope, a cheer went up as Dmitry's voice came through the comm system, confirming the enemy's capitulation. Zara allowed herself a small smile, but she knew their work was far from over. Well done, everyone, she said, her voice carrying across the entire fleet. But stay alert. We still have a lot to do here. Over the next few days, as the dust settled, the true scope of their victory became clear. Not only had they defeated the Zarkonians, but they had also uncovered evidence of a much larger threat lurking in the shadows. Elias, poring over data recovered from the Zarkonian archives, made a chilling discovery. Commander, he said, his voice grave, you need to see this. He brought up a series of reports and star charts on the main display. The Zarkonians weren't acting alone. They were part of a larger coalition of species, all dedicated to hoarding advanced technology and suppressing lesser races. Zara's eyes narrowed as she studied the information. How many species are we talking about? Dozens, Elias replied. Maybe more. And they're spread across a significant portion of the galaxy. The implications were staggering. Humanity had won a great victory, but they had also painted a target on their backs. The entire coalition would now see them as a threat to be eliminated. Zara turned to her crew, seeing the same mix of determination and apprehension on their faces that she felt. "Well," she said, a hint of a smile playing on her lips, "I guess we have our work cut out for us." As the Edian fleet prepared to return to Earth, carrying with them the terms of the Zarkonian surrender and the knowledge of the greater threat they now faced, Zora couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. They had come so far, evolved beyond their wildest dreams, and yet the greatest challenges still lay ahead. The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders and terrors beyond imagination. But humanity was ready. With the power of the catalyst, the indomitable human spirit, and the lessons learned from their victory over the Zarkonians, they would face whatever the universe had in store for them. As the humanity's hope led the fleet into FTL, jumping back towards Earth, Zora looked out at the star-studded void and smiled. The counterattack had been a success, but the real adventure was just beginning. Humanity's stand. The return of the Earth Deep Space Navy, EDN, fleet to the Sol system was met with jubilant celebration. News of their victory over the Zarkonians spread like wildfire, igniting hope and pride in the hearts of humans across the globe. But for Commander Zara Okoye and her senior staff, the triumph was tempered by the knowledge of the greater threat looming on the horizon. As the humanity's hope docked at the newly constructed orbital station, New Horizon, Zora prepared herself for what would undoubtedly be a challenging debriefing. The United Earth Council had convened an emergency session to hear their report and determine humanity's next move. The council chamber was a marvel of human and precursor technology, its transparent dome offering a breathtaking view of Earth below. Zara stood before the assembled leaders, her posture straight and her gaze unwavering. "Members of the council," she began, her voice resonating with quiet authority, "we stand at a crossroads. Our victory over the Zarkonians was decisive, but it has also revealed a truth we cannot ignore." With a gesture, she brought up a holographic display of the galaxy, dotted with countless points of light representing the coalition of advanced species they now faced. "We are not alone in this fight," she continued. The Zarkonians were merely the vanguard of a vast alliance dedicated to suppressing species they deem unworthy of advanced technology. An alliance that now sees us as a threat to be eliminated. Murmurs of concern rippled through the chamber. General Blackwood, his face grim, spoke up. "What are we up against, Commander? Give it to us straight." Zora nodded to Dr. Elias Reeves, who stepped forward, his augmented eyes glowing softly as he interfaced with the holographic display. "The Coalition, which calls itself the Galactic Concordat, consists of over 50 advanced species," Elias explained. "They possess technology that rivals, and in some cases, surpasses what we've gleaned from the Catalyst. Their territory spans nearly a third of the galaxy." The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices, fear and disbelief evident in their tones. Zara raised her hand, calling for silence. "I know this seems overwhelming," she said, her voice cutting through the noise. "But we have advantages they don't expect. The Catalyst has given us the ability to adapt, to evolve at an unprecedented rate. More importantly, we have something they've forgotten: the indomitable human spirit." She turned to Captain Sarah Chen, who nodded and took over the briefing. "We've developed a plan," Sarah said, bringing up a new tactical display. "Operation Cosmic Shield, a three-pronged approach to secure our position in the galaxy." The plan was ambitious. First, they would fortify the Sol system, turning it into an impregnable fortress. Second, they would establish a network of hidden colonies and outposts, ensuring the survival of the human race, even if Earth fell. Finally, they would embark on a campaign of rapid expansion and alliance building, seeking out other suppressed species to join their cause. As the council debated the merits of the plan, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. A junior officer burst into the chamber, his face pale. "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected," he shouted. "It's the Concordat. They're here. Zara's mind raced. How had they found Earth so quickly? There was no time to ponder. Action was needed now. General Blackwood, initiate planetary defense protocols, she ordered. I'm taking the fleet out to meet them. As she rushed to the Humanity's Hope, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that this was it, the moment that would decide the fate of humanity. The scene that greeted them as they exited Earth's orbit was one of nightmarish proportions. A vast armada of alien ships, far larger than anything they had faced before, filled the sky. Ships of all shapes and sizes, representing dozens of different species, hung in formation, their weapons primed and ready. By all that's holy, Dmitri whispered, his enhanced eyes wide with awe and fear. Zara's jaw set in determination. This is Commander Okoye to all EDN ships. You know what's at stake. Earth is behind us, everything we love and fight for. We are humanity's last line of defense. We will not fall. We will not fail. Engage the enemy. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as one of the most epic and desperate struggles in human history. EDN ships, empowered by the catalyst and guided by the indomitable will of their crews, clashed with the technological marvels of a dozen advanced civilizations. The Humanity's Hope led the charge, its organic hull morphing and adapting to each new threat. Zara's mind was one with the ship, orchestrating a ballet of destruction on a cosmic scale. Sarah coordinated the fleet's movements with inhuman precision, while Elias worked feverishly to counter each new weapon and tactic the enemy employed. On Earth's surface, Dmitri led the ground defense, commanding legions of enhanced soldiers and combat mechs against waves of alien drop pods that managed to breach the orbital defenses. The cities of Earth became battlegrounds, with humans fighting with desperate courage to defend their homes. For hours, the battle raged with no clear victor. The EDN fought with everything they had, their ships and soldiers pushing the limits of their enhanced capabilities. But the Concordat's numbers seemed endless, their technology a match for even the catalyst-enhanced human fleet. Just as it seemed the tide was turning against them, Elias made a breakthrough. "Commander," he shouted over the din of battle, "I've analyzed their fleet movements. There's a pattern, a central controlling intelligence coordinating their attacks." Zara's eyes narrowed. "Can we disrupt it?" Elias nodded, his fingers flying over his console. "I think so. But we'll need to get closer to their command ship, much closer." "Then that's what we'll do," Zara said, her voice filled with steely resolve. "All ships, this is Commander Okoye. Converge on my position and prepare for a spearhead assault. We're taking the fight to their doorstep." The EDN fleet regrouped, forming a wedge formation with the Humanity's Hope at its tip. With a burst of their advanced engines, they plunged into the heart of the enemy armada. The battle intensified to a fever pitch. EDN ships exploded left and right, but for each human vessel lost, dozens of Concordat ships fell. The Humanity's Hope pushed forward, its hull breaching and regenerating in a constant cycle as it weathered a storm of enemy fire. Finally, they broke through. Before them loomed the Concordat command ship, a massive structure that dwarfed even the largest human vessels. "Now, Elias," Zara shouted. Dr. Reeves activated the disruptor pulse, a concentrated burst of energy derived from the catalyst's deepest secrets. It struck the command ship, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, chaos erupted across the Concordat fleet. Ships began firing on each other, their coordinated assault dissolving into confusion. "It worked," Sarah exclaimed. "Their central control is disrupted." Zara allowed herself a grim smile. All ships pressed the advantage. Take out their command structure. The EDN fleet surged forward with renewed vigor. Without their central coordination, the technologically superior Concordat ships found themselves outmaneuvered by the more adaptable and individually creative human pilots. On the Concordat command ship, the Supreme Council of the Alliance watched in disbelief as their carefully laid plans crumbled. "How is this possible?" The Arch Coordinator chittered, its alien features contorted in what might have been fear. "They're savages," primitives. How could they stand against us? The answer came in the form of the humanity's hope, phasing through the command shields as if they weren't even there. Zara's voice boomed across all frequencies. We are humanity. We adapt. We evolve. And we bow to no one. With that, the EDN flagship opened fire, its weapons tearing through the heart of the Concordat's power. As the command ship exploded in a spectacular fireball, a cheer went up across the human fleet. Without their leadership, the remaining Concordat ships began to retreat, jumping to hyperspace in a desperate bid to escape. In the aftermath of the battle, as the EDN fleet regrouped and began rescue operations, Zara stood on the observation deck of the Humanity's Hope, looking out at the star-strewn expanse before her. Earth hung in the distance, battered but unbroken. Her senior staff joined her, each bearing the scars of the desperate battle they had just won. "We did it," Sarah said, a note of awe in her voice. "We actually did it." Zara nodded, her expression solemn. "We won the battle, yes. But the war has just begun." Elias stepped forward, his augmented eyes flickering as he processed new data. "The Concordat will be back," he said. "And next time, they'll be ready for us." But he paused, a small smile playing on his lips. "So will we." Dmitri, his cybernetic implants still glowing from the heat of battle, grinned fiercely. "Let them come. We'll be waiting." As they stood there, looking out at the vast expanse of space, Zara felt a sense of profound change. Humanity had been tested, pushed to its very limits, and had emerged stronger than ever. They had faced the galaxy's greatest powers and held their ground. "You know," she said, turning to her team, "when I first took command of this ship, I never imagined we'd end up here. Defending Earth from a galactic threat, wielding technology beyond our wildest dreams. But looking at all of you, at what we've accomplished, I realized that this was always our destiny." She gestured to the starfield before them. The Concordat thought they could keep the wonders of the universe to themselves. They thought species like us weren't worthy of the stars. Today, we proved them wrong. And tomorrow will show them just how far humanity can go. As if in response to her words, a burst of light caught their attention. A new star was being born in a nearby nebula, its brilliance a testament to the endless possibilities of the cosmos. Zara smiled, feeling the weight of command, of responsibility, but also the thrill of the unknown. The galaxy is vast, filled with wonders and dangers we can scarcely imagine. But we've taken our first steps into this larger universe, and we will not be turned back. The age of humanity has begun, and the stars themselves will bear witness to our ascension. As the Humanity's Hope turned back towards Earth, leading the victorious EDN fleet home, Zara knew that this was not an end, but a beginning. Humanity had made its stand, had faced extinction, and emerged triumphant. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever cosmic horrors or wonders awaited them in the depths of space, they would face them head-on. For they were humanity, adaptable, resilient, and unbreakable. And the galaxy would never be the same again.